Hello everyone, this is Debbie Geyer with Jim Geyer, and we are leaving our marina to start our little video. This is Green Turtle Bay Marina, where we keep the boat. And there's Jim taking us out.
Got our headsets on so we can talk since we're only two here shooting video.
Yes, where headsets make life much easier to try to talk. And I'll take over once Jim gets us out of here. And here's the other part of the marina as we're leaving. It's a pretty sizable marina and we really enjoy it here. As you can see, there's some big houseboats here. So now we are leaving. We have to be careful to stay within the markers here because it gets very shallow. These are mooring cells, which the barges can attach to while they wait to go through the locks at Barkley Dam. There's the Barkley Dam.
Okay, we're going to let Debbie take over driving now. I'll continue with the tour. Debbie's been talking about what we're doing here, but so she's now taking over. So there she is. Okay, we don't usually wear our headsets, but today we are, since we're first time we've ever shot video like this on our boat while we're also driving it. So that's why we're doing that. Plus we can talk to each other. If I'm out here and she needs something, I can go in there and help, and vice versa. So anyway, as she said, we're heading out into out of Green Turtle Bay Marina. And I don't know if she mentioned the dam over there, but there's a dam right behind those mooring cells. And there's a lock there too. So if you go through that lock, you'd go through a little stretch of river and then you'd be in the Ohio River. So the Ohio River's right over there. And we're going out into what's called the Cumberland River. And if you followed that river about 200 miles, you'd be in Nashville, and then continue on, you go to other places. But since the river's dammed up here, it's called Barkley Lake, is what the name of the lake is. So we're going out into Barkley Lake. We're also going to, once we get around that corner there, we're going to turn right, and we'll be going upstream. And we're actually going to go over to another lake. It's actually called Kentucky Lake. And that lake is part of the Tennessee River system. So the Cumberland River and the Tennessee River both flow into the Ohio River real close to here, just a few miles apart. So they call that area between the rivers and those two lakes, Kentucky Lake and the Barkley Lake, they call that land between the lakes. So we're going to go right between the land between the lakes on this little boat trip. There's a canal that connects these two rivers and lakes together. So it's only about 1.5 miles through the canal. There's no lock, so we just breeze right on through. So we'll do that. What we're going to do is we're going to, well, first of all, why we're doing this, Debbie and I decided to stay on our boat through all this mess that's going on, everybody's aware of. And so we figured we're going to get stuck somewhere, we'd rather be stuck here. So we decided to come here to stay on the boat, and hopefully we'll stay here through the whole duration. Plus we got lots to do here. This boat takes a lot of work to keep up. We're actually passing our friend's house, Byron and Cynthia, right there on the point, and they're actually outside. They're going to be waving at us. I think what Brian, it looks like Byron's got his chemical suit on. Not sure what that is. Anyway, those are great friends of ours. We've traveled all the way down the Gulf of Mexico with them in boats, our boat and their boat. We went down there and spent weeks going down, and then spent about a year and a half down there. Seems like almost a year of that with them. So we know them quite well. They're very good friends. Unfortunately, we can't visit much since we're all trying to quarantine. But so we're out on the boat today. So glad everyone can join us, whether you're looking at this live or you're going to be looking at it later on recording. Just hope you enjoy it. So I thought we'd do a little bit of boating here. I can explain a little bit more, and then we'll take you inside and give you a tour. In fact, I might as well start the tour around the outside of the boat. And we're going out, like I said, out into Barkley Lake, which is the Cumberland River. So I'm going to head down the side of the boat here. I'm going to try flipping this just so maybe, that didn't work too well. Okay, anyway, I'm not sure if that flipped or not, so I'm going to stay like this. So one thing we like about our boat is we got side decks. We can walk all the way around the boat with ease and safety. We got railing here. It's also covered, so if it's raining, because you can see in the background there, just notice that with the lock, you can see off to the left of the dam there's a lock there. And when you go through those locks, you've got to tie up to a bollard in that lock, so when the water goes down or up, you stay secure. And so if it's raining and that sort of thing, it's nice to be under cover like this. And also with the decks, we can walk around the boat and tend to the boat as we go up and down the lock. So it's a lot easier than not having these side decks, so we really enjoy that. And so I'm walking around the back of the boat now. This is the aft deck. And some of you have actually been on our boat who might be watching. Others, maybe have never even been on a boat before. But anyway, we like this back deck because it is also covered. So we can sit back here, whether it's raining or not. Plus it's just enjoyable, it's shady. So it's just a nice place to sit. And as you can see there, we just left our marina. And this down here, this is our swim platform. So we often, when we in the summer, we'll anchor out. And we can go down there. We have a boat up on the top deck that we can put in the water, and we just have a lot of fun with that. So that's a lot of fun. So I'm gonna just give you a little bit of a pan around here on the back deck. This boat has a lot of teak, and you can see this ladder is teak right here. I just refinished that this summer. It had turned almost entirely gray, and we decided on our boat that we would refinish the teak and use what's called teak guard on that to keep it looking that color. Some people let their boats turn gray, just naturally. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We just wanted to keep the color, as part of it. So, but the boat has tons of teak. Like here's the door here. That's all teak. So I've refinished that. It's a lot of work. People often look at us in pictures on Facebook and say, "Wow, you guys have a lot of fun. Must be really enjoyable not to have to do any work while you're there." Well, these boats are a lot of work, and it's spent hours and hours working on this thing. So there's the back deck. So I'm going to walk on inside here now and give you a little bit of a tour inside the boat. We don't often do this on Facebook. We don't have a lot of pictures inside, so maybe some of you might not have ever seen this before, or some of you actually have been here, so that's good. This is inside the boat. I just came in the back door. I'm going to walk forward here a little bit. This has a full kitchen called a galley on the boat. So we've got a full-size refrigerator, microwave, stove, sink, everything you'd want to have in a small apartment. Debbie always likes to tell me this doesn't have a dishwasher. So we have to do this old school. So we have to wash our dishes there in the sink. But if you look out the window while you're doing the dishes, that's what you usually see. So it's not too bad. Plus, since I tend to do the dishes, so that's always good. So there's our galley there. We got a nice place to sit there. You gotta notice in our boat too, this is an old boat. It's a 55-foot Choi Lee. It's a boat that's made in Taiwan, and it's been 1979 is the year the boat was made. So as we've been renovating this, we bought this about 6 years ago, and have been slowly but surely renovating this. We've replaced nearly all the systems, all the electronics, the navigation, sanitation system. We've done a lot of work on the engines and generators, and we've just done a tremendous amount of work on systems, things that people tend to not see much. All the air conditioning systems, all that stuff, most of that's been replaced. And we're now slowly but surely, as I said, doing more of the cosmetics work on the boat. It already doesn't look too bad. I mean, the previous owners have done a great job, maintaining this boat. And I'll tell you a little bit more history about that in a minute. But we're now going to turn sort of toward the inside of the boat and start doing a lot of work with that. There's some areas we're going to completely redo. But when we do this, we're doing it in a renovation form where we're restoring the boat to what it was originally. So as we put things in the boat, like furniture, we're choosing furniture that has more of the older style, the colors that were more in the 70s. Some people call this the Brady Bunch boat because we're putting things in it that just are older. In fact, I'll show you an example of one if I can reach down here in the cabinet. Many of you might recognize this. This is Corellware. This is authentic 1970s Corellware. Debbie's dad, when he had passed away, we got his dishes, and that's what it was. So we decided that we had to have that on the boat. So we replaced all the dishes on the boat with this old Corellware, because we wanted it to be more of a 70s style. Now, one thing about the boat all the way through it is teak and holly floors. They're in great shape. In some places it needs to be refinished, but that's going to be one of the last things we do. But that's teak with a holly lines next to it, so it's all wood. The entire boat is practically teak. I mean, the inside walls, lots and lots and lots of work to keep that up. Around the dock, they jokingly call me Captain Teak because they always see me working on the teak outside or wherever. It's pretty much a year-round job. It's kind of like painting the Golden Gate Bridge. You just got to keep going and keep at it. We have a lot of other 70s stuff in here. This is actually a lighter that I don't remember if this was Debbie. Yeah, that was Debbie's dad's lighter. It's 1970-ish, maybe 60s. We figured anything that's in the 60s or 70s would be okay to put on a boat, not the 80s, because we wanted to make it like as if someone had bought the boat and what they would have had on it. So stuff in the 60s is fine because they may have brought their old stuff on the boat. These two things are the same color. Debbie had bought this ashtray independently. This is a 1970s ashtray, and I think one of our daughter-in-laws actually found it, Shayna, and they were digging through her dad's stuff and found this lighter. Thought, wait a minute, they're the same color, exactly the same. So independently, someone got us that ashtray, and we didn't realize we had a lighter that matched it. So we love stuff like that. I mean, that's exactly what we like to do with the boat, to kind of dress it up, as it would have been. Everything's, as I said, we're trying to restore back the original, except the electronics. Navigation, we have all the newest navigation you can possibly get. So I'm going to walk up front here where Debbie is driving. There she is again. This is our pilot house, is what we call it. It's the bridge. This is where we spend most of the time driving our boat. And we've spent as many as 14 hours here non-stop. Typical travel days, like going down to the Gulf of Mexico, it takes 2 weeks of driving about 8 to 10 hours a day. And anchoring out at night, we're dodging barges and things in the water, and all day long, we're up here, and it's comfortable in the way that we can close the doors and turn on the heater, air conditioning in here, so we don't have any environmental issues like that, but it can get tiring. But we take turns. We both have had a lot of time driving this boat, as well as others. So this is our pilot house, and that's where we would spend most of our time when we're driving the boat on trips. There's even a bunk here. I guess you could actually take a nap there if someone's wants to have someone else drive. But often we'll sit back there and drive the boat with our feet on the tiller there. We also have autopilot on this boat, so if we're in a straight area, we can turn the autopilot on, and it'll follow a certain course. So that eases life a little bit on longer trips. not like a cruise control is on the car. But you still, of course, have to keep really careful eye on what you're doing. So that's the pilot house. I think what I'll do now is I'll take you outside just for a little bit more, and then maybe we'll go downstairs and I'll show you the downstairs area, the lower area. And one thing we can do off this boat, which we figure staying here too, is we can fish. There's a lot of catfish in this lake, and they're not too hard to catch. So right there at the marina, I've seen people pull out these massive catfish. So we're in pretty good shape here, I think. So what we're doing now is we're coming up to a point. I'm going to pan to the left. That's Cumberland Lake. I'm sorry, not Cumberland Lake. Cumberland River. Barkley Lake was the name of the lake, so it's Cumberland River. It turns to the left there, and you follow that, like I said, 200 miles to Nashville. You'd have one lock to go through, so we're going to turn right. We're going to go through that little cut that cuts between Barkley Lake and Kentucky Lake. So Debbie's making the turn right now to get around this corner. We've been keeping an eye on barges. We actually checked our AIS before we left, which is an automatic identification system, to see if there's any barges out there. And Debbie's been checking that regularly to make sure. We don't want to barge in this cut when we go through because it gets kind of crowded. There was one earlier, right before we left, and we delayed a little bit leaving just because of that. So we're going to go through this because it's about 1.5 miles. See a bridge up there. That bridge goes between with the town of Grand Rivers and Land Between the Lakes Recreation Area. So it's a national recreation area called Land Between the Lakes. So you can look that up and see. It's I mentioned earlier, it's a land between the lakes, Kentucky Lake and Barkley Lake, which were formed by the Cumberland and the Tennessee River. Yeah, so it's actually a national recreation area. It's a great place to go. A lot of hiking, camping, that type of thing. Nice thing is on the lake here, it runs, I think, around 45 or 50 miles, I think. I don't remember exactly how long the park is, but along the lake side of that park are lots and lots of coves that we go in and anchor. And the nice thing is there's no lights or anything because it's just all campers that are in there. And there's some campgrounds in there. Usually they get very crowded, so it's a really nice place to go to anchor out. That's one of the reasons we like it up here. And this overall is northwest Kentucky. Neither one of us are from here. I'm from California, which many of you know. Debbie's from Ohio. We live in Ohio right now. In a home there. I've lived there for 30 years practically. I was in the Air Force and ended up there and met Debbie and got married. So we have a home there in Ohio. That's where all of our kids live and all of our grandkids. So we live on the boat about 40% of the time, off and on throughout the entire year, and sometimes a lot longer. Like when we went down to the Gulf, we were on the boat for significantly longer. So we kind of mix that time up with renovating the boat, fixing problems that happen on any boat that you have, and trying to enjoy time. So I'd say predominantly we're working on the boat. Okay, so Land Between the Lakes is off to the left. That's the very northern tip of it. And unfortunately there's no leaves on the trees, so it looks kind of barren right now. But like I said, I believe it's around 40 or 50 miles long, something like that. A little narrow stretch. I think it only runs about just a few miles wide. So we're going to go around that, and we're going to go into that bridge. So I think I'm going to wait it out here a little bit longer so you can see that part of it. Maybe I'll walk around the back of the boat again, but while we're doing that. There's actually a campground on the right, which is a really nice campground. I believe it's a private campground though, since it's not part of Land Between the Lakes. Usually there's lots and lots of fishermen out here, but I think most of them are staying home, although I guess it's a way of social distancing if they go fishing. Plus it's a form of food, so I don't see anything wrong with it. Plus the way we see it is that we're not leaving our home, to do this, so we're practicing social distancing in our home, but we're moving around. So that's kind of why we wanted to stay here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of slowly turn here to the starboard side. see that. Yeah, Debbie told me we have been want to wear these headsets so she can tell me if people have questions. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in comments, and she's going to relay them to me over the headset here. So she's busy driving though, so she can't see all the comments. But she did say someone was asking how fast we're going. So we're only going, I think, around. I have to look at the chart plotter, Debbie. There, you can read it off there in miles per hour. Our chart plotter is set to miles per hour in miles, because riverways are set in miles. You know, the mileage markers are in miles, so that's why we set it to that. If we went out in the out of the riverways, more out of the coastal and in the ocean, yeah, then you're in knots. So then we would change our speed to knots, and these charts that are calibrated in knots, so not in miles. So that's how fast are we going there, Debbie? Okay, we're just doing 7.1 miles per hour right now, but we're only running about, I think we're at 1400 RPM, so that's not too bad. We would, on a trip, probably crank it up to about 2000 RPM. We can run about 10 or 11 miles per hour. That's as fast as we can go. We broke a record one time coming out of a dam, a lock actually, that was spilling a lot of water, and we got up to about 16 miles an hour. This boat only does 11 or 10 or 11, so we have a lot of current behind us pushing us. Normally we like to take this down south in the winter. This winter we didn't, because there's a lot of rain in the south, and that causes a lot of river flow. The Tennessee River, which we're going to be coming out onto real soon here, is one of the only rivers in the United States that flows north or northward, as the Cumberland River does too. But so with all that rain, the dams that the locks we'd have to go through would be treacherous and very dangerous. So we decided to stay in Kentucky with our boat through the winter, and luckily we had a mild winter, because you don't want things freezing on the boat. We leave heaters so we can keep the engines from freezing up, that type of thing. But we also like to enjoy our boat. We were actually out here one time in January of this year and anchored out and cooked and had barbecue on the back of the boat. Okay, so we're approaching this bridge here. We got plenty of clearance. We have gone under bridges that are a little dicey, where you got to look at the markers. You can see the marker on the right. I'm telling you all this stuff assuming you're not boaters. I mean, a lot of people watching our friends of ours who are boaters, so sorry for all the basic stuff, but some people haven't done much boating. So there is a marker over on the right side of the boat, or the bridge there. It doesn't have any feet. Okay, we got plenty of clearance. This boat, our boat, needs about 25 feet of clearance. I make it a rule that every bridge we go under, we check, no matter how high it is, just to get in the habit of doing that. We've gone to some bridges where we clear by just a couple feet. Debbie actually was on the top deck one time. She got a video going on this one bridge with just a couple feet clearance, and it looked crazy. So here comes the bridge. Okay. Okay, so we're about a little over halfway over to the Kentucky Lake. This is, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think this is true. I think it's the largest man-made lake in the United States east of the Mississippi. So east of the Mississippi, I believe this is the largest man-made lake. The dam is going to be to the right as we come through. It's currently spilling water at about 175,000 cubic feet per second. I think all the spillways, except for 2, are open. We drove by there a couple days ago. And to the left is, we've taken that before to get to the Gulf. So if we're going to go to the Gulf of Mexico, we make a left here, drive 200 miles to northern Mississippi. You join in with the Tom Bigby Parkway, and there's about 450 miles down to Mobile. And there's roughly 14 locks So 14 dams and 14 locks, you got to go through to do that trip, and that's where it takes a couple weeks to do. That's moving along. So we've, yeah, I guess not all the locks have a dam there, but most of them do. They generate power. So we've gotten lazy where we don't like to travel 8 to 14 hours a day driving anymore. So we try to break that up a bit. So we took a long time. It took almost 6 weeks to get from the Gulf back up here, but we took breaks at different places. So here we are. We're coming down to Kentucky Lake. So the lower end of it is just a couple miles to the right when we come out. That's where the dam is. If you went through that lock, Kentucky Dam lock, you'd meander around a little bit and you get out to the Ohio River, just like the Cumberland River did. So again, that's why they call it land between the lakes, because you got these two lakes with land between them. So I think Debbie's been watching for barges, which is a good thing to do right about now. Is they get priority out here, so we communicate with them and make sure we pass them, so we don't disturb their movement, because they're massive. This is a busy place for barges because there's two locks here, Barkley Dam and then this dam here. So you've got a lot of barge traffic that comes through to get to the Ohio River and vice versa. And the Kentucky Dam here is the busiest of those. So I think we saw on the chart plotter from the AIS signals that there was 3 or 4 barges just waiting, to go through the lock. So we've made this trip quite a few times. We've gone back and forth to northern Mississippi, I think, half a dozen times now. And all the way down the Gulf at one time, a couple years ago. We stayed there for 1.5 years. We were going to go down to the Gulf and only spend a month and come back up. We stayed 1.5 years. We liked the place. We parked down there so well. And plus we had some issues the next spring with a lot of flooding. So we decided to stay. Now we're stuck up here, in a way. But we still like it up here. Yeah, you can see maybe off the right where the dam is over there. It's starting to appear on the right, or actually right in the center of the camera there. You can see where the dam is starting to appear. That's Kentucky Dam. The lock would be to the far right. But we're not going to go that way. We're going to go left here, I think. Yeah, there's I'm not sure if you can see in the light. Maybe we'll go closer when we come back. There's that marker right there you can see. There's a nest. It's an osprey nest, and there's actually an osprey in the nest. You see those on almost all these markers. So you can see that, I think. We'll try to go a little closer coming back. There's a barge, but they're hooked up to the mooring cell there. They're not moving. So they commonly do that while they're waiting for clearance to go through the lock, which is going to be just, I'm not going to try to turn too fast here, but just off to the right over here. Now you can see more of the dam off in the distance, and the lock is just to the right. So there's probably more barges down there waiting to go through. And these 2 barges are sitting there waiting. At Kentucky Dam, they have a pretty good sized lock, but they're building another lock now, so they'll have 2. Some of these places they do that, like at Pickwick Dam, which is the next dam 200 miles in front of us now, up the Tennessee River there, which is the length of this lake. Kentucky Lake is about 200 miles long, because that's where the dam is, their Pickwick Dam. They have 2 locks there, so apparently at one point they had 1, maybe, I'm not sure, but and then they built another one, so they've got 2 locks, and allows them to lock people through these boats a little bit faster. So we've had a lot of time working with these boats. The lake here is really wide. Got a lot of width to the lake. That's only about the first 100 miles of this, and then the last 100 miles, as you get closer to the dam, the last 100 miles is just a narrow river. So you travel along a river, and so we're kind of dueling with these barges, and dealing with. But there it gets curvy too, so you've got to be talking with them about what to do and what side to pass them on, that type of thing. So they're all really friendly people, as long as you kind of work with them. You know, you don't want to get in their way, that's for sure. Okay, so this is Kentucky Lake. Again, it's part of the Tennessee River. So the Tennessee River would go through that dam over here, which I showed you earlier, back over there. Then a number of miles, it's not too far, and get into the Ohio River. So it's where it goes into the Ohio. Yes, I think I'm going to probably wrap this up on the front deck here and then go on downstairs and show you inside there. It'll take my eyes a while to adjust. I've been out here in the sun, but luckily we got some sun today. So we'll check out Debbie, make sure she's driving okay in here. Everything okay in here?
Yes. Let me know when you want to turn around.
Okay, so we can probably go. Let me go down. I'll give them a tour downstairs, and then we'll probably get that point. We'll turn around. Okay, so I'm gonna spin around here. You're all about a half hour of doing this. I'm gonna make this down here kind of quick. I know we said we want to take a half hour, but we might run a little bit over. This is where we came out of the salon area and the galley that I talked about earlier. So we're gonna go down these stairs right here, down this way. It might get kind of dark view at first, but it's going to get noisy down here too because we're going to be walking right between the engines. I'm going to walk, it'll be a dark view, walking between the engine rooms. And there it is, of course, open the door at the end of the hallway. And so you can see the hallway here. I'm just walking through the hallway. The engine rooms are on each side of me. And this is the master stateroom. Plenty of room in here, king size bed, makes it really comfortable for staying long periods of time. You know, we never get tired of staying here. You can see out the back window here as we're traveling. Usually if we got our cats out, they'll be here looking out this window. They usually sit in the window and watch where we're going. We had them locked up upstairs just for our end up front just to keep them safe while we're doing this and they don't run out. As I said, this is the master stateroom we're in right now. It's got a little bathroom here, everything. It's got a full-size shower, plenty of room to deal with. And we always like to point out, Debbie asked me to do this. Here's our washer and dryer. Yeah, people that have boats, it's not the size of the boat you have, it's the size of the washer and dryer. That's what matters. So. Yeah, I think Debbie mentioned someone's asking what the range is on the boat. We have enough fuel to do about 2,000 miles without getting fuel. This runs diesel. I can show you the diesel. These are 742 fuel rates. They're 210 horsepower, and we've got two of them. So one on each side. Here's another door that goes to the other engine room that I won't bother going to. We have a generator in each room. Now, I'm walking forward. See, we just came from the back of the boat. Oops. I'm sorry if it's dark in here. We just came from the back of the boat down below. So there's the master stateroom. So I'm going to turn around, and then it goes forward through this hallway to the forward door. This is what we call the forward area. There's two staterooms up here. So it starts off with a small hallway. And then off to the left here, there's actually another bathroom. Back behind the door here, there's another head, and then there's another full-size shower in here. So there's a lot of room. This is actually a larger bathroom, or what we call a head on a boat, than we have in our bedroom, our master bedroom. This is what we have for guests. So guests would have a hallway here, their own facility there. Off to the right, there's a room here. This is going to be dark first, so I turn the lights on. This is actually a bunk area. Well, it's a stateroom, but it's got bunks. So we have top bunk, a good sized bunk. Down below is an extra wide bunk. And of course, like I was telling you before, it's got deep and high floors all the way through. got a small vanity here. There's a locker there for putting stuff. It's actually a pretty comfortable room. Yeah, Debbie said that little vanity, that's why she said we could buy the boat. I don't know why, but actually the one in our master bedroom she liked. Up front here we've got, oh, there's a kitty, okay. And up here we've got another bunk area. This would typically be a V berth on a boat where you've got a bed that's the shape of a V. On this boat they decided to put bunks here. So we've got another set of bunks here. This is getting cramped up here, but oh, there's a cat sitting there. Ah, that's funny. Anyway, a little bathroom up here. So this boat has, well, we would say 2.5 baths. You know, it's got 2 heads with both having a shower and also, but we have 3 separate toilets on the boat. So that works out pretty well. So I'm gonna leave the cats up there. Usually we let them run around, but I'm just gonna worry about them getting out there to the video. So down below here, as I mentioned, we've got the master stateroom and the forward stateroom area that's got 2 staterooms. One on that door I just went through, one off the right. And very comfortable. Of course, usually it's not this noisy if we're playing right now. But, so I'm going to go back up the stairs here. Back upstairs. And that's pretty much a tour of the boat. You know, we've gone through outside. We didn't go on the top deck, but we got that all covered up with all of our seats up there and stuff are covered. I'm not going to bother going up there, but there's a whole nother floor above that's all out in the open with an awning. We can also drive the boat up there. We've got all the same controls up there we do downstairs. It's outside, but it's under a cover. If it was really foggy or something like that, it'd be better to go up there and have a little better visibility. But our boat sits so high up above the water from even the pilot house, we can drive up here pretty safely. And it's more comfortable. Okay, so I think the plan here is maybe I'm going to hand the phone over to Debbie again, and then we'll probably be signing off pretty soon. So we've been a little bit past a half hour. I hope everybody's enjoyed this. But again, if you got questions there, I don't know if Debbie's been overlooking any of those, but we can also answer them. We're going to post this, and it'll be recorded, you know, saved. We can answer some of your questions after we get off and then we're done driving the boat. But okay, so I'm going to hand the phone over to Debbie, and we'll probably get this wrapped up pretty soon.
Okay, I'm just going to go probably, yeah. I think I'm just going to sit out front holding this for a while, and so y'all can stay on and watch, or you can just sign off. But this has been fun. This is what we like to do. Some friends of ours that are neighbors here at Green Turtle Bay said maybe they should have considered staying in place here like we are. So anyway, I'm just going to sit here quietly and let you look, and thank you for watching. Be safe. Bye. I haven't turned this off yet. Let's see. everybody. Stay well.